Hey, so it's time for some truck maintenance. I've got an upgraded fan here, which is a composite fan that I got off of a forum. Looks like some dude on the forum decided to start making these fans, and I bought it off a forum from him. Let's see how that works. It's kind of an interesting deal. This is a fan clutch from Rock Auto, and I'm going to put that in with the new fan as well. There's some instructions on installing, I guess, torque specs and stuff. And then this is a heater core. The heater core is leaking, or I think it's leaking because I can see smoke coming up from the defrost vents, and I think that's a pretty good sign of your heater core leaking. So let's throw these in the truck and see how they perform. Alright, so here's a comparison of the two fans and the fan clutches. Fan clutches look similar. I'm not really sure what was on there before, but if you go onto Rock Auto's website, you can see that there's quite a few different fan clutch styles. There's a thermal fan clutch design, there's a non-thermal fan clutch design, and then of the thermal there's standard duty, heavy duty, severe duty, and they have different percentages of when they, I don't know if you can see that or not, they have different percentages of shaft speed to fan speed, run rates at different temperatures and stuff like that. So I got the most baller one, the severe duty, which is this fan clutch. So this particular fan that I got is kind of special. There's this guy on Oil Burners that is selling it. His handle is 03WR250F, and he advertises that it's 160% more fan surface area than the stock fan. It's got more blades, the same diameter, and it should bolt right onto the factory fan clutch, or this factory replacement for the fan clutch. So let's go ahead and install it. in there, I got a 2-inch body lift kit on this truck, so you can see the fan's a little bit lower than the housing, but that's alright. It's been like that for a while. I mean, maybe that's why I'm having cooling issues, to be honest, because it's offset. But we're gonna give this bigger fan a try. Looks like it's clearing the shrouds okay. Time to move on to the heater core. Here's the air box. I actually took this apart probably somewhere between 6 and 10 years ago or something, and replaced this heater core. So I'm kind of perplexed why it's leaking, but we'll see here in a minute. Looks like we gotta take these nuts off here, and we can get in here to the actual heater core. Hot water hose, perfect. Alright, this is the next day, we're all cleaned up, and time to install this heater core. Hello. I cleaned off this interface with the hot water hose and just kind of sprayed everything down. One thing I realized is that I had I've always had a drip on this engine, and it looked like maybe it was coming from the back of this valve cover here, and the bolts there were really loose on the valve cover, surprisingly loose. I'm wondering if last time I took it off I just didn't tighten them down very well, but it was obviously loose. So I'm thinking maybe there's like a thermal relaxing of the gasket there, and for some reason, you know, that loosened everything up. I don't know, but hopefully my oil leak is gone now that I tighten those down. That would be really nice. All right, let's put this air box back in.
Here he is, installing the air conditioning that I've always wanted.
No, it's the heater.
Oh.
Definitely not air conditioning. So it's getting kind of dusky here. I'm gonna charge up the batteries with this charger. Looks like it's pulling 7.5 amps or so before starting the truck, just because it's sat for a long time. I don't want to stress the batteries out any more than I have to. All right, so the heater core is in. We'll need to bleed out the air in there. I guess we'll just maybe open up the radiator cap and put some distilled water in there once it starts idling and pumping that through. And I also cleaned the air filter while I was at it. And so now we're going to start the truck up and hope that the new fan doesn't fly off and ruin the radiator. Let's see. Horribly off. We're probably going already I'm noticing a difference of the truck running a little bit cooler. Definitely haven't hit the majority of the hill yet, so we'll see how it looks when we get there. To the summit of 17, we did get to 220 on the coolant temperature, but we were pulling in third gear about 9 pounds of boost and maybe 1,000 F on the EGTs, which is pretty hard for this truck. I mean, this is an old truck that's, you know, with a bunch of aftermarket parts and stuff, so I'm pretty impressed. I think it's definitely helping stay cool, that new fan and the new fan clutch. It's hard to compare. I think the worst case scenario for this truck overheating is lower gears and steep grades, and this third at 9 psi is, third gear with 9 psi is pretty difficult for this truck, sustained. So yeah, well, I think we'll have to see when we get the camper on the back, because that's a little bit heavier, and all of our gear and stuff, and going up the mountains on a hot day. But so far so good. I'm a little reluctant to say that the problem is completely fixed, but I think it definitely helped getting that new fan clutch